Boy, welcome to M Cubed. I'm Schmook. Let's get started. All right, so of course we're back. It's Comic Adaptations Weekly. We just watched The Boys. We just watched The Boys season 4 finale, which to me is watched last night with some buddies. Right, I was gonna do this last night, but my boys wanted to get together and watch this shit. Right. And I get it. It's one of those shows that you want to watch with people. It has to be. I think it's a great show. Of course. Sorry, guys. Of course, you can watch it on your own. That's what I've been doing basically up until this final episode. It's never been like, oh, let's meet up at this buddy's place and watch this new The Boys. But it's like the finale is worthy of getting the boys together and watching it, right? Now, okay, so we can talk a little bit about episode 7. I think 8 is definitely the more worthwhile episode to talk about. I just wanted this to be a video of the finale, right? The last 2 episodes is the finale. Of part 1, part 2, some may say. Oh. Self-product placement right there. I have a cup of Joe in the morning. Okay. So I would say the big takeaway from episode 7, right, is it's ending with Starlight showing up in costume for Huey, and Huey's all about it. Okay, all about it. Who wouldn't be, right? Your girlfriend's a superhero, and you're like, damn, you look good in an outfit. He's definitely intrigued, right? Then they do the do, right? And you find out almost immediately after, it's the shifter, right? And this is the episode we figure out the shifter's in. That whole sequence is crazy. Huey gets fucked up, gets cut by her, right? But instead, like he lies to Starlight, so it starts a little bit of a downfall, right? It starts a little bit of the downfall of I'm lying to my girl. I'm lying to Starlight. And, they always find out. They always find out in some way. But instead, he gets his hand pretty fucked up, right? It's cut up pretty good. And he lies by saying, I'm going to the urgent care. He does not do that. Instead, he goes to see Newman, right? And, Huey has a soft spot for Vicky. He does. I don't think it's anything. I think it's very platonic. But that could have been an interesting direction to go if Huey's like fucking Vicky on the side, Even though you have Starlight as your girlfriend, there's also another incredible woman of power who so happens to be the vice president elect, right? Anyway, they don't go that direction, but I think that could have been an interesting subplot. I think the shape shifting thing is more than enough of side plot to say, oh, okay. He's fucking some other girl, but clearly this girl looks exactly like his girlfriend, right? Anyway, so I do see this stuff, like, what Huey talking to Vicky and the Starlight as a shapeshifter is, to me, clearly the biggest parts of episode 7. Except for the absolute end. From this episode, it's like I can see where they're going with Butcher the rest of the series. It's brilliant, but anyway. He's just drinking at a bar. He's talking to Joe. Clearly, Joe's a figment of his imagination, right? Or is he? I mean, he's a subconscious entity at this point. Split personality type of shit. But he's watching Ryan on TV, where Ryan is so fucking close to just being like, yeah, my dad is a psycho. Don't listen to any of this bullshit we're spouting to you. It's like, listen, your family's your family. Love him or not, but Ryan's about to go off about his dad, right? And I love that scene because even though Butcher's talking to himself ish, He goes, and that's why I fucking faith in the kid, you know? And it's like, yeah, the kid has mad potential. He can be the one to take out Homelander. Truly. He's gonna be near identical in power. He's also the first soup that was born. So it makes sense to take out the superhero, which is Homelander, right? And it's his dad. So Billy has so much faith in him, and then it's getting to the point where Billy he can't fight it anymore. And Billy clunks over, right? And then you see that smile on Joe's face, and like, oh my god, dude, it's so close to him taking over. Because when he takes over, Billy's probably gonna be fine. I mean, he is souped. He takes out Ezekiel when he's knocked out. That's clearly Joe taking over the body, right? And we just haven't seen it. But I love this dynamic of like the split persona, this dual personality type of situation, where clearly it's Joe's the one who took out Ezekiel, right? Jeffrey Dean Morgan's character. But how? Like, how is he able to take complete control of Butcher in some way? Except he doesn't, but he does. As we get to episode 8, the absolute finale, this was just a brilliant episode. I will say performances were off the charts in this episode. Performances were off the charts. I'll say the actress who plays Annie, brilliant. I thought she was remarkable in this episode, especially with the shifter scene where it's like it's Annie talking to Shifter in the room that Annie's being held captive in. Because like you look in the mirror and it's like you'll see like Annie, you'll see this reflection of the shapeshifter talking to her, and it's like holy shit. One, it's great to see like the same actress go up against each other in a scene and both give killer performances. Excuse me. I just had some eggs with my coffee. Yeah, it's pretty. Ooh. Anyway, I knew from that scene, I'm like, dude, we're in for quite the episode. And I don't know, it's hard to explain, like, but it's just like you see the episode, and you know, like she is giving her all in this scene. It's not even her portraying technically her character, you know. She's going off as this different person who looks like her character, and it's like, holy fuck, you're going off. And she's just like, you know, I know you. Like, don't act like I don't know you. Like, when I touch you, I get all those memories. I become you. I'm still me. She's going off about all this. Okay. To dive deeper, we get into what happens with Billy after he collapses at the bar, right? You know, he's just in the hospital. He's at some FBI camp or whatever. Billy looks like shit. Billy looks terrible. Okay. But Ryan comes to visit, which is awesome. And, you know, they play a little Connect 4. They're chatting. They're having a good, you know, we're just hanging out. Like how when they played foosball. I like that they're just able to sit down, play some games, and not have a fucking care in the world. It's kind of how it should be. Like, they've been through so much. Like, let's just sit down and play a game, right? But then, I can't remember her name. The main FBI chick and Grace, right? She is like pouring her heart out to Ryan, being like, yo, you have to be the one to take out your dad. And Ryan's like, I don't want to do that. Like, yeah, I don't know what to feel about my dad, but I like it over there. At least he likes it. He's comfortable there, right? But Grace keeps pushing and pushing. And she gets herself killed. Ryan's like, dude, stop, and shoves her. he doesn't know his own strength. He clearly doesn't. Like, he did not mean to kill Grace. But he also didn't really give a fuck when he did. I mean, it's like, she's saying how I love you, blah, blah, blah. He's going Aunt Grace. Like, she helped raise him a little bit. I'd say at least for a year, she raised him. Like, he has deep feelings for her. But he kills her, and then he kind of just walks out. I'm like, buddy, your Homelander's showing. I thought that was a pretty crazy scene. And Butcher's just trying to tell the kid, like, hey, I mean, like, hey, you're not forced to do anything, but we need you to do this. And Ryan's kind of listening to Butcher, but like once Grace is going so sentimental, like Ryan's just like, this is too much, pops her. I thought that was a wild sequence, and that's where Ryan leaves, and then you get that jet. I was waiting for it. I was waiting to see Joe after that scene. I'm like, oh, he's coming. It's been clearly just Billy, with our last little bit of Billy. That's why I love that phone call between him and Huey. He's like, tell the boys I'm sorry. Goodbye, Hugh. More or less being like, hey, I love you, man, but I'm on my deathbed. I'm not gonna be able to make it finish this fight. And he technically doesn't. We'll get to the end, but even though Billy's a part of it, it's not Billy. It's Joe. Joe's taken over. But we'll get to that point. I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but that scene, that phone call, Huey, and then him hanging out with Ryan was the last we are seeing of Billy, potentially until his very last scene in the series, hands down. Okay. Anyway, other key moments of the episode. Homelander, Anthony Starr is miraculous as the character. It's actually insane how good he is. Anytime he has any piece of dialogue, it's like it's jaw dropping. It is, and he's great. I love the live television moment. One, a lot of this feels too real, where it's like, holy fuck. Where you're getting like the footage of like inside the Senate, the House, the Capitol, and then you have Homelander talking to Vicky on live television, and he just outs her. Like when he laser beams her chest, I'm like, oh, dude, you just outed Vicky. So now that's a whole spiral. And then we get to it's all this whole scenario of a plan where you get to the assassination of President-elect Bobby Singer, right? One, I love when he's shooting golf and he just goes balls. I love how much they love Supernatural. Like one that like the creator adores Supernatural, and he brings all these guys in. There's a lot of references. It's great. Specifically that warmed my heart. Supernatural is one of my favorite shows of all time. Has similar sauce to The Boys, so that's why I love The Boys so much. Of course, you have Jensen Ackles, you have Jeffrey Dean Morgan, you have the guy who plays Jack in Supernatural, but he's in Gen V. Then, of course, you have Bobby Singer, right? Who plays Bobby Singer in Supernatural. But anyway, little tangent there. But, excuse me. The boys are there because they know there's some sort of attempt on the president-elect's life, right? And Huey is finally able to, like, he's been picking up signals from the shapeshifter, but he still asked her to, well, she asked him to marry her. Crazy. He grabs his mom's ring or something like that and puts it on her finger. Not a good look. But again, I can't blame the dude. Like, the girl's kind of acting like how Annie would. Obviously a little different. Clearly, if you're in a relationship, you're not getting all these spontaneous acts just like that. But just throwing that out there, Huey. But he asked, like, they're basically engaged. It's not even Annie. Annie's locked up somewhere. But Annie breaks out. And Huey's able to finally get that last piece where she's sweating like crazy. What she remembers from that time is like, it's hot. It's hotter than a furnace in here. clearly some sort of setback or side effect from the powers, where she's sweating like crazy. But that's where Huey gets it, tells Mother's Milk, and that whole interaction's hilarious. I love Mother's Milk in this episode. He's great. He's great. Anyway, then they both the shapeshifter's been made. Like her cover's blown. So she just decides to go after the president, right? And like all the Secret Service is doing what they can. They're shooting at this girl. It's like there's nothing you can do. She's a soup. Like you're gonna shoot bullets at her, and it's not gonna do shit. But then it comes to Annie being like, Huey, go. Annie comes to save the day, fights the shapeshifter. Shapeshifter breaks Kimiko's neck. I was expecting Kimiko to come to and help with the fight, but I did like how they just kept Kimiko down. It should have been Starlight's fight to take this bitch down. One, you've been fucking my man, you're wearing the ring, all that stuff. You need to be the one to take her down. And I'm happy they did that. Okay? Awesome sequence. And then Starlight gets pissed at Huey. Whatever. She's like, how many times did you fuck her? He goes, less than 20. It's like, 20. And then, she's being very emotional. And it's like, I get it. But it's like, you can't blame him too much. He was able to pick up on it eventually to the point where the president's not dead now. If he didn't pick up on it, they wouldn't have been able to rush the president into the secret, safe space if he didn't figure it out sooner, right? But again, I get it. She's pissed. She's pissed because you're fucking another girl. Yeah, she looks like me, but come on, you should know. And he was just like, well, I'm sorry that like it looks like you and you're being overly. I don't want to just say sexual, but I'll just say sexual. There's better terminology, but so Huey's all about it. But I love how he eventually just breaks down like, how I didn't know, just dive into all these like little kinks that makes Annie that he loves about her. I thought that was a good scene. So of course Annie forgives him. Like it's just this great little piece of dialogue being like, you're being tested for every STD known to mankind. And it's like, okay, it's funny. She's fine, but I understand her being very emotional in the moment. Once she's killed a person too, it's even fucking another girl. But like, we'll get through it. And I'm sure the engagement will stay on. Like, it was still the thought there. Like, he was like, yeah, of course I'll marry you. So she's probably thinking in her head, oh, okay, this guy wants to marry me. He thought it was me. So I think that's a good moment. Kimiko and Frenchie are finally a thing. It's beautiful. Comes to fruition in a beautiful way at the end. So that was a good moment. It's just like, I like Huey being like, I want to take some advice from my dad. Like, we are acting like the monsters we are trying to kill, right? And I thought the message was clearly there from Huey. Like, the idea of forgiveness is a beautiful thing. I like that Kimiko takes that to heart, talking to Frenchie, being like, we need to be able to forgive ourselves so we can grow and be better and stuff like that, right? And Huey's just trying to be like, we need to be able to fight like humans. So we're not these soups. We need to be forgiving. We need to be emotional. We need to not think we're better than anybody else, just like these supers, And it's a great message there. Clearly, I'm all about forgiveness in life, and I thought I loved it. But when it comes to this show, I'm sorry, you have to be a ruthless, cold-blooded fucking killer. You have to. And it's the only way anything's gonna get done. That's why Homelander's fucking basically president or God Emperor of the world right now. That's how he gets to the ending, where Billy gives in. He gives in. He gives in to Joe. Again, I love the idea. But when he shows up to the boys, when they're talking with Vicky and her daughter, like being like, listen, I'm just trying to get out. Like, and the world knows I'm a soup. I'm done. I'm not gonna win shit. This needs to be done. Then Billy shows up and he looks fine. He looks fine. He doesn't look like he's been sick. I'm like, oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. And I'm like, okay, I knew this was gonna happen. Where it's like Billy's gonna become like, it's gonna be Homelander versus Billy eventually. But Billy's gonna win, and he's gonna be the guy the boys have to take down, which makes it more emotional. It's one of the boys, one of your best friends, your brothers, all that shit, right? But how they're setting that up for the season finale or the series finale next season is pretty excellent. I just wasn't expecting the powers he was going to have, because obviously he's souped up. The cancer that's going on inside of him is it's super cancer, so crazy enough alone, right? But I just wasn't expecting how it would look. But he's clearly OP as shit, where like he's able to grab Newman and just with these tentacle things that's coming out of his body, it's like it's a different entity. Like it's not really Joe, it's whatever this cancer is having its own persona, own mindset, but still diving into the deepest, darkest parts of Billy's mind, right? Where it's like, you want every fucking soup dead, so get it done, make it happen, right? So it's still Billy, but it's not Billy. You know, I mean, Billy has more of a heart. Like this, the good part of Billy is now gone. Maybe not gone. Maybe not gone, but he's gone. He's away until probably his last scene in the entire show. Okay, his last scene in the entire show, I should say. But I know that whole part blew me away. Like I know, Vicky was bound to die. I didn't know if it was going to be like it was too easy for Vicky for Newman to just walk into the Oval Office, kill Bob Singer, and become president. That was too easy. I love what they do because guess what? Speaker of the House is now president. Bob is being framed for Vicky's assassination. He's just like, she put an attempt on my life. I can't go after her. Shit like that. I'm like, buddy, you're done. You're done. You're donezo. And now the Speaker of the House is basically just a fucking V puppet now because this dude doesn't give a fuck. He's just some mindless fucking politician, right? And so now basically Homelander is in charge. He's in charge of this deputy force, which is superheroes. That's basically your police state, our soups, ran by Homelander. And Homelander's just in charge. It's basically he's president and Sage is vice president. And Sage is clearly the brains of the operation. Hey, what's up, David? Glad you're here, man. Don't worry about it. I'm probably wrapping up here pretty soon. I'm glad you made it. But I hope you watched the episode. I thought it was excellent. I think it's one of the best. This was the episode where I'm like, man, The Boys is clearly, to me, probably to me personally, it's my second favorite show that's running right now. That's airing. I think House of the Dragon's below it. I like The Boys more than House of the Dragon. I love a song. I think it's behind House. Or no, I think it's above House. Sorry, Harris. I like The Boys more than House. I think House is very good, but I don't know. I don't think it has the sauce of like early Game of Thrones or whatnot. I think The Boys, again, overall, I will say season 2 of House of the Dragon is overall better than season 4 of The Boys. Don't get me wrong, but I do think the peakness of The Boys trumps House of the Dragon. Even though like episode 4 of House was pretty miraculous, right? It's just like this episode alone, I'm like, this is why I love television. Like it's like I'm going to the movies each week in my bed. I'm watching something peak, something with sauce. And The Boys hasn't felt that way every week like it did in season 3. I'll give you that. I think there's only like 2 episodes where I'm like, oh shit, The Boys is the best show on television. Now, I have one show ahead of it, which I kind of want to get into when I'm kind of done talking about The Boys, which I might do a separate stream once I'm done. So I'll just plug it out. I'll put it out there real quick. Cobra Kai. To me, it's my favorite show on television. There's so much. If you love the Karate Kid universe, like I love how Cobra Kai just dives deep into every single like movie and persona and personality from the old movies, bringing them to the show with these guys being older and bringing in a new generation of kids and whatnot. And it's just like I watched the first episode of the new season. It just dropped Thursday. And again, it's like my favorite show running. And I just watched this shit last night. And I'm like, holy fuck! Like they are going deep, deep into this stuff. Where it's just like, all right, listen, we are good guys, and we're just doing things differently. And like, I can't even explain it. I'll dive deep into it. I think I'm gonna do a video once I'm done with the first part of this final season. It's the final season split into 3 parts, 5 episodes each. But when I watched this first episode, I'm like, holy shit! Like they are cooking this season. And so yeah, if you haven't seen Cobra Kai, highly recommend. I'll probably do a video on it when I finish. Okay. It's only 5 episodes. I watched the first one, and so I'll be done fairly soon. Maybe probably not a video next week. Next week's a pretty busy week. Because I'm gonna do a Deadpool predictions and theories. We can talk about the final trailer as well. Crazy. I'm not gonna say anything because this isn't a Deadpool stream. Of course, especially if you don't want spoilers. If you're not watching the final episode or final trailer, the final trailer kind of. I don't think they needed to show what they did. Again, I'm going on a tangent here, but I don't think they needed to. But I'm fine with knowing it because to me, if they're gonna show that shit in a trailer, what are they fucking hiding from us? I am seeing Deadpool and Wolverine on Thursday at I think around 6 p.m. So Friday, I'm gonna try my best to do a reaction stream. Unless I don't know when you're seeing it, Harris. Oh, you're seeing it Thursday, sweet. So maybe Friday evening, maybe we can do a good stream about it. I think that'd be a fun time. I'll see if any of my boys want to jump in because I'm seeing it with a bunch of my boys plus my girlfriend. So it's gonna be a beautiful time. Yeah. Oh fuck. We're gonna get peak MCU. I can't wait. But anyway, tangent. Cobra Kai, watch it. Deadpool and Wolverine next week, and we're seeing it at the exact same time. All right, we'll text each other right when we're out. We're gonna have a lot to talk about, big man. But anyway, so yeah, that's my plan. Is probably to do predictions, and then hopefully Friday I want to do a video talking about it, like spoilers, full spoilers. And then it'd be Friday or Saturday, maybe Saturday to give people a little more time to see it. We'll discuss. And then, I mean, Saturday we're also going to get the main Marvel Comic-Con panel, right? San Diego Comic-Con, right? And I'm debating on doing a separate stream that day once we get a lot of info, but I might just do that as the next week's CAW because I think that'll be a good stream just like once everything cools down, once we get a little more information to talk about it all, right? Yeah, David, I know. Deadpool has a miraculous amount of hype, and I hope so too. But what I'm hearing, it's going to live up to the hype. There's no doubt in my mind. But what I'm hearing about it is Kevin Feige just had this awesome passage that drops with an amazing photo of Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. But it was Kevin Feige being like, if Infinity War is a 9 and Endgame is a 10 in terms of like effect on the MCU as a whole and in the future moving forward, he said Deadpool and Wolverine is an 8. And I'm like, oh shit. Oh shit. So, and here's my thing. I never expected this movie to be like, oh, this is setting up the rest of phase 5 and 6 or whatever, right? The multiverse saga. But it makes sense. It makes sense. It kind of needs to be because we're getting Thunderbolts, we're getting Captain America, we're getting Fantastic Four, which is set in a different universe. We might get Blade before the next Avengers, but those are the main movies that we're getting before supposedly Avengers 5, right? Which is also awesome that apparently they got the Russo brothers back for. I know this is getting away from the boys, but you know, this is what we do here. This is what we do here. We talk comic book shit in general. Yeah, this is the film. This is the film to be like, all right, Deadpool and Wolverine will return in Avengers, blah, blah, blah. It's going to be tight. It's going to be tight to see those words. See Deadpool and the Wolverine will return. I'm going to lose my mind. I kind of wish that's what they did at the end of No Way Home. They just go Spider-Man will return instead of Spider-Man will return. I think that would have been cherry. I also kind of think we're getting a Spidey in this movie. I don't know anything. I don't know anything at all. But based on the trailer, I kind of think we're getting a Spidey within this movie. I think it's gonna be Andrew, but it could be Toby because the idea is that he wants to work with Toby and RDJ within an Avengers movie. And the rumor right now is that RDJ is going to play like a villainous Iron Man, like superior Iron Man that we were thinking Tom Cruise was going to be in Multiverse of Madness. I think it'd be tied if it's Toby and Hugh versus RDJ. If that's the main plot line of Avengers 5. And then they have to team up for, of course, Doom shit for Avengers Secret Wars. So that's what I'm hoping they're doing. And it's pretty clear that's what they're doing. They're going to do Battle World shit, and it's going to be tight. To finish out with the boys, I guess the only thing I'm really missing is how everyone kind of gets fucked up at the end. That one telepath in Gen V captures Huey, like from the hospital secret. Or no, that was actually from like season 2 of the boys, wasn't it? That chick we haven't seen in like 2 seasons. Captures Huey, but then we see Sam and Kate. I think her name's Kate from Gen V taking capturing Frenchie and Kimiko, and we hear Kimiko screaming no. I'm like, oh dude, chills. I got goosebumps once I heard her talk, and it's like, oh, that's when they know they're fucked. It's the soup police. It's the soup police getting their ass. And then fucking Mother's Milk is about to meet up with his wife and kid, and he gets dicked. Literally. This long schlong wraps around him and beats his ass. And I'm like, damn, dude. And of course, Starlight's able to get away. Like she's with, she's obviously, she's starting to feel her superpowers again, and she has to get away. It sucks, but she has to leave Huey. She has to get help of some sort. Of course, she's probably gonna find the other characters from Gen V. It's obviously gonna become this crossover event of some sort for season 5. Like I don't see the Gen V characters being like huge players, but if you've seen Gen V, that scene was pretty sick when you saw Sam and Kate. And yeah, Kimiko saying no was it literally blew me away, man. It blew me away. All right, I think that's going to do it. I think I touched the main basis. Great work if you can get it. Get what? Yeah, no, I'm kind of with you too. I mean, Newman was definitely powerful, and like, here's my thing: she was hyped up a good amount in Gen V, and she kind of just gets murked by Butcher, which is cool. But like, she should have done something else. I mean, maybe she should have been out. She should have been the one that actually killed Bob Singer or some shit. I don't know. Overall, I mean, The Boys to me is just one of the best shows running. If you count Loki within there, I think that's also one of the best. I'd say Loki, Cobra Kai, The Boys, House of the Dragon are probably the best current shows on television. Oh. Yeah, one word within the entire season. It's her screaming no. Screaming no. It something about it just really it fucked me up when I was watching with The Boys. I'm just like, we all looked at each other. It was me and 4 of my best friends watching it. And we're just like, we waited this entire time, and she's screaming no, and like it makes sense. Like her and Frenchie are finally together, and she's losing him. So I guess I'll end on predictions for season 5, which unfortunately we're probably not getting until 2026. But 2026 is shaping out to be one hell of a year if we're gonna get The Boys. I think we're getting Stranger Things next year. I could be wrong. We could get that in 2026 too. But we're getting The Boys. We're probably gonna get House of the Dragon season 3. We're going to get the next Avengers movie. Yeah, 2026 is going to be nuts. We're getting Shrek 5, Toy Story 5, Frozen 3, I believe. We're getting a lot. In terms of animation alone, 2026 is going to be pretty nuts. But in terms of being a fan of like the genres, I love animation. I love superhero shit. I just love going to the movie theater fun. And 2026 is going to potentially be one of the best years in, I won't say film, but in terms of like the movie industry, it's gonna be one of the best of all time because we might get some absolute bangers, but at the same time we're just gonna get some good shit to munch and just absorb some great content. Yeah, so David, I think the next season of Gen V, it should come out next year. That's what it says on IMDb, but who knows if they're filming. But they're saying 2025, and it makes sense for Gen V to be that bridge between this season and the finale, right? The final season. And of course, like you got to get these kids out of this bunker, where the fuck they are, and they got to probably team up with the boys to take on Homelander, their friends, Sam and Kate. They'll probably have some emotional moment. I don't know if they would have it happen in the boys, but they might. But it could be at the end of season 2 of Gen V, where it's like they're able to get Sam back on their side and shit like that. Kate's probably too far gone. But yeah. All right, guys. I think I'm gonna leave y'all there. This has been an awesome stream. I've had a blast, and yeah, I mean, I'll talk to you guys for sure on Monday. It'll probably be Monday. Could be Monday for sure. We'll talk about Deadpool predictions and hopes for the movie itself, and then of course that probably next Saturday we will dive deep into spoilers on Deadpool, and then a week from Monday we will talk about all the reveals from San Diego Comic-Con, because we're going to get a lot. We're probably going to get the official confirmation of Joe and Anthony Russo directing Avengers 5 and 6. Probably the fact they're going to get Marcus and McFeely for the script, who are probably the goated writers within the MCU. I don't even know. I'm going to like the Russo brothers, but I think they might be the main reason for the success of the 4 movies they did. Not to discredit the Russo brothers, but I think you need the writers. I think they're the ones who cook with this material. But anyway, that's a tangent that I'm not going to go on. But all right, guys, I will catch you on Monday to talk some Deadpool. I hope you enjoyed the stream. The boys, it's over for now. And then next time we talk about it, we're going to be in the final stretch, guys. All right, guys, I will catch y'all very soon. Make sure to destroy that like button and hit that subscribe button. And I'll catch y'all very soon. Bye-bye.